Welcome to Simply Country Cuisine. Hi, I'm Susie. Today we're going to make a tomato country pie. Hi, so to get started with our country tomato pie, you're going to need a few ingredients. You're going to need 4 to 5 ripe, and I like to use Roma tomatoes because they're a little bit more meaty. But lay them out on a cutting board or a paper towel. Sprinkle about a tablespoon of coarse salt on them. Let them sit there for about 15-20 minutes and then pat them dry, because then it doesn't make your pie very wet. You're also going to need 1 pie shell, unbaked, in your favorite pie pan. And you can use a store-bought pie shell unless you want to make one. But it needs to be set out in room temperature, and it needs to be soft and pliable. You're also going to need, this is where you can be a little bit flexible. You need about 1/3 to 1/2 cup. I like to use the green onions, the spring onions, chopped finely. Or in the winter, what's really good is if you take a Texas sweet, slice it thinly, saute it in butter, because butter makes everything good. Get it nice and brown and sauteed. You can use those onions. You can also do that with a little bit of bacon. Bacon also makes this very, very delicious. You need 1/4 cup of basil pesto. You can also use fresh basil if you prefer. You're going to need 1/3 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. You're going to need 1/3 cup of shredded this is Parmesan cheese. You're going to need, and I like to add about 1/3 cup of New York sharp cheddar white. I think several cheeses in this pie, the more sharp, it brings out the flavor of the tomatoes. But you also need 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar. H-E-B has a very good brand. They don't put much filler in it, if they put any at all, and it always says the H-E-B brand. But they have all of these cheeses listed in pre-shredded packets, or you can shred it yourself. And to top it off, you need 1/2 cup of very good quality mayonnaise. Now, mayonnaise is a preference. I prefer Blue Plate mayonnaise. It's thicker, it's more rich. It just has a very good taste. Now, while you're combining your ingredients, you're going to take your pie shell, put it in the oven, and let it bake off for about 8 minutes at a 400-degree oven. And then you commence to combining all of your ingredients together. Mix all this together very, very well. Now it's going to look a little bit thick, but that's okay, because this is going to be like a lasagna layer to your tomato pie. All right, and so when the pie shell is ready, then we'll assemble it. So after your pie crust is cooled for about 10 or 15 minutes, what we're going to do now is we're going to layer it in a lasagna fashion. On the very bottom, let me move it over to the cutting board. You're going to layer your onion first. And again, if you had sauteed onions, you would want to put these on now, but make sure you saute them first. But since we're still in the summer months, I kind of like to use the fresh green spring onions. Spread them out as evenly as you can. And now we're going to put our cheese mixture on. And we have clean hands, and God gave us our hands before he gave us spoons and forks, so we're going to use our hands to spread the cheese out as evenly as we can. Now we're going to layer our tomatoes on, and they've set out long enough that they're pretty dry. So put them on pretty. Put them on as nice as you can, because remember, we're going to cut this and it's going to look to be the pie fashion. And I will tell you that if you overdo your tomatoes, your pie will be too wet. So I try not to overlap them too much. Now I'm going to layer the pesto, or dollop it, I guess, just kind of dollop it around. Try to get it where each tomato has a little bit of the, and if you were using the fresh basil, you would lay it in, you could just lay the whole leaf on there. You don't even really have to shred it. You just lay the whole leaf. And I am going to get some more cheese. I put it in the refrigerator, but I'm going to get some more cheese. And I'm going to add a little extra shredded cheddar to the top. You can become quite creative with this. You can make it your own. You can just add any kind of cheeses or ingredients that you like on it. And when I say little, this family likes cheese in this family. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it back in the oven at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes until the edges kind of get brown. It'll get bubbly and brown. And then when that's done, we're going to come back and show you the finished product. And this is your finished product right out of the oven. We'll have to let it cool before we try it. Well, let's see what we've got here. Now we're going to cut into our pie, our tomato country pie. Oh, juices are and there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today on Simply Country Cuisine. I start my day out each morning by drawing a scripture that God gives me, and I will close each segment with that scripture. Today's scripture is, "We are to God the fragrance of Christ."